Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between momo4sho as our British. His opponent today is going to be Anticafe as our Wehrmacht. Map today is going to be Famenville. Two rather exposed critical field points out front, some guaranteed fuel near your base, two L-shaped cutoffs connecting you to pretty much everything. And yeah, I love this map. Been on the map pool a long time. I like to tell the story about the castle building that used to sit here in the middle of the map in Company of Heroes 2. They got rid of that and really opened it up here, adding this dinky little house that nobody uses. And yeah, fun little map. So triple Royal Engineer opening for our British, and a triple Pioneer opening for our German player here. Looks like both players might be throwing down some field defenses to get us going here. And just want to have a lot of capturing power right out of the gate. Grenadier following up for our German player, no surprise there. Probably see another Grenadier, eventually a heavy machine gun after that. British player, a little bit behind on manpower because those Royal Engineers are definitely more expensive here. But it does look like both players are going to walk away with the fuel they need, as well as some field defenses on these critical fuel points. So both players are going to be happy here. Nice little capture order here from our German player. I mean, he spent a lot of time building these field defenses instead of capturing, but wasn't going to have control until right this second anyway. So that's pretty cool to see. And more sandbags following up here. It's funny to see no combat for the first 2 minutes. I mean, typically players run into each other a little bit, but both players being very active about the field defenses, and I love to see it. I'm so glad they sped up the construction of field defenses last patch. I think it was one of the best changes they made in the patch overall. Certainly the most impactful in my opinion, to the way players approach the game. Royal Engineers surrounding these Pioneers here. Pioneers are going to instantly bail out, wants to lose as little manpower as possible. No surprise there. Grenadiers on the scene, but Royal Engineers being reinforced by an infantry section here, going to be able to hold the line. On the looks of things, British players locked in Canadian battle group here. I feel like this battle group is relatively unpopular these days. I'm not really sure why. They didn't make any significant changes to it. I mean, they buffed it. They didn't nerf it, so not sure why we see less of it these days, but can't complain too much. Third Grenadier on the way for our German player here. So, gonna be infantry heavy here, no heavy machine guns in sight. British player is closing in on the platoon command post timing here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that go down pretty soon here. Could see another infantry section, but with 3 Royal Engineers, I feel like that'd be a little bit unusual. And this looks to be a favorable fight for our German player, although the British player is going to walk away with this victory point in the middle, and we are going to see a third infantry section. So both players mirroring each other's builds a little bit here. And this, once again, looks like a really good fight for our German here. Royal Engineer in jeopardy there, is going to bail out. Looks like a misclick there, meant to retreat the Royal Engineer, but accidentally hit his infantry section there. The good news is he's going to get all his units out of there, no problem. He is going to take this cutoff point, although the cutoff point control itself isn't very meaningful because the German player is not connected to any territory on that side. Now this is very, very dangerous retreat path here. Royal Engineer's in major trouble here. He's going to retreat now, but that's a lot of firepower. Isn't focusing the Royal Engineers though, instead focusing... No, just not focusing at all from the looks of it, just letting the units fire where they will. And nicely done here. Royal Engineers on the wings here, going to pick up this territory. Heavy machine gun has been added on here. So both, well, German player recognizing that his opponent is very infantry heavy and wants to control the map a little bit here. And infantry sections crowded around this little heavy cover well there. But with the clumped up units like that, does need to respect this flamethrower. He is focusing it down, but does need to leave right now. And is going to go down from the looks of it. May barely escape. Just barely going to escape. So Very fortunate for our British player. That could have been a pretty devastating loss for him. And interesting going for grenades next here. Now, grenades makes a lot of sense in the context of incendiary munitions, right? So, we'd be seeing that. Yeah, he's got the incendiary munitions, also taking offensive resupply. So basically going to have free grenades every time he decaptures a point, which is very, very strong in combination with those incendiary munitions and, of course, the grenades that he's just picked up there. Doesn't want to lose his fuel here. That makes sense to me. Looks like he just wants to delay that inevitable outcome as long as possible. He is picking up resources on the top side there. More infantry in the area here. Capturing a whole bunch of territory on that top side, but here go the Royal Engineers. Going to give up the spot, finally. Heavy machine guns sitting at max range there. Recce package added on for these infantry sections here. Going to increase their combat effectiveness at long range here. And fights happening all over the place here. This is what I love about the super high-level games, right? It's just action all over the place. Players microing multiple units in multiple territories. Ooh, what a great incendiary grenade. Anticipating his opponent stepping into that cover. Going to absolutely shred here. Reinforcing the Pioneers there with the Grenadiers to keep them alive, but they are going to go down. And this is a very favorable fight for our British player here. Now, both those infantry sections have access to free grenades, but not going to take advantage of that other than that first grenade, of course. So anytime you're seeing this buff here, that's what that is the free grenades. And now I'm doubting myself for no real reason, but I am going to quickly check here. Yeah, 35%, 35 munitions discount, which makes grenades free. And it gives a discount. The artillery barrage from the base still costs 45 now after the patch. And so 35 munitions discount on that is going to be pretty darn decent. Big flank coming in on this heavy machine gun. Going to force him to reposition almost right away here. German player is going to see it, of course, and bail out of there. Grenadiers on the flank here. I can't quite tell if they have... Looks like they are able to circumnavigate that, or circumvent that heavy cover there. Barbed wire all over the place here. Royal Engineer's going to barrel out. Infantry section on the wings there, just taking some munitions here. And overall, looks like fuel control, I should say, has been favoring our British player here. So, AA gun on the way for our German here. British player fearing vehicles here, going for an AT gun. I think he may not fully appreciate just how far ahead on fuel he has been throughout this game. I think that if they were equal on fuel, it could be a very real possibility that we see some vehicles in the near future here. Bren gun added on here, lovely to see that. Bren gun very, very powerful at all ranges, but of course 100 munitions is not cheap. Flame grenade going out into the house. Grenadiers barely going to avoid that, and heavy machine gun going to drive them back ultimately here. Like the variety in upgrades here from our British player. I think one recce package is very, very good, just for that added utility of flares and base artillery, but once we start talking about more than one, I start to question it, feeling like the Bren gun is a superior choice, especially when you have as many munitions as you could possibly want here. You see a mine there from our German player. Gonna lock down that fuel just a bit more here. AT gun on the scene. Has seen this AT gun, so AA gun, so should know that there aren't any vehicles in his opponent's near future. Well, at least immediately. Infantry section getting cooked out of this house. Needs to bail out right now. May not see it, though. He's going to see it at the last possible second, and that unit is going to escape there just barely. I heard a grenade coming down somewhere. I'm going to drive back that AA gun, but the suppression on the side here is going to be too much for those Royal Engineers. Going to force them back. Grenadiers also helping out on the flank there. A big old push coming down through the middle. Hope for our German player's sake that he recognizes this left side is weak. There's literally no units there. I mean, he did just win a fight on this right side, so maybe thinking to cement his position over there. Flak Panzer on the way here, the Verbal Wind. So AT gun is going to be ready for that. And his archer, I don't think our British player's picked up infantry training just yet. Has gone for Stuarts here. So looks like we're going to be seeing a Stuart here in the next couple minutes. Just needs a little bit more manpower for that. More mines coming down here. British player doesn't currently have any minesweepers. I don't even think he knows that the mines exist yet. He hasn't seen his opponent planting them yet. There's some British mines there right in the middle. This could be really scary if the Flak Panzer gets involved there, finding... This is the type of mine a vehicle on a chase finds here, so... I have to be careful of that. I don't know if our German player has seen the AT guns yet. Could expect those to exist, of course. The machine gun to suppress this unit. Here comes the Flak Panzer. Very cool white skin there. He's gonna hit that mine. Oh, barely not gonna. AT grenade coming down. AT gun also connecting here. German is gonna be able to back out of there. And this is not a place you want to be as a Royal Engineer. Stuart in the queue there, gonna be here very shortly. Interestingly enough, British player winning that top side. The support of the Bren gun, AT gun gonna reposition here, help out a little bit. Looks like the Flak is trying to attack ground through this bush. Of course, that's not gonna do a whole lot. Finally managing to penetrate the bush after destroying some of the debris in there. At least I assume that's what's happening. Maybe just good luck there. Royal Engineers immediately being shredded, and a cool tank skin here as well. That, like, dark charcoal. Grenadier's going to find the mine there. Fortunately for our German, did not want to find that with his tank. And Stuart moving up just a little bit here. Overall, victory points favoring our British player. Not very surprising, he has had pretty decent map control throughout the start of this game. But with a Martyr and Jaegers on the way, German player is really going to be... His build is really coming together here. He's going to have tools for pretty much everything our British player could want to be doing here. AA gun going to drive back the Flak Panzer there. And Stuart going to keep the AT gun safe. Very common strategy to see AT mirroring the movement of tanks. Friendly and enemy, of course. But I love that he's protecting his AT gun with this Stuart. Infantry training on the way here. Royal Engineers being found out here. Feels like some indirect fire might be in order. Potentially for our British player here. You know, I say that every game, and our players never do it, but... And I guess maybe, you know, I know for a fact it's not as good at high level, right? Because folks are more willing to reposition their units. But for somebody like me, oh man, Flame Grenade going to take out the AA gun there, nicely done. AT Grenade going to come down as well and cripple the engine there. So that Flak half-track's going to be, Flak Panzer's going to be out of the fight for a little bit here. Martyr is on the field, mirroring the movements of this Stuart, so we're probably going to see him drive into this area here. Grenadier's going to try and recapture here. That flame is still going, though, so can't quite do it just yet. British player throwing down another flame grenade to prevent the retake there, and is going to destroy it with his AT gun. So really nicely done there. Destroying that AA gun is a big deal for him. Stuart being aggressive here, does know about the existence of this Martyr. Martyr going to fire back, AT gun set up. Is just barely going to get a shot as the unit retreats there. And Flak Panzer driving up just a little bit here to try and shoo back this infantry, but Stuart's not going to let that happen. Pioneer's still repairing under fire there. Nice little flank from this heavy machine gun, going to prevent this infantry from getting involved too much there. But AA gun is rather far forward. Does have a shot, but is going to lose vision here. And base artillery barrage coming down, attacking ground here into the fog of war, trying to get a connection with the Flak Panzer. Is going to find him there. Shouldn't connect anymore. And nice little job there. Stuart on the hunt up here, narrowly avoiding that German mine. German player has locked in the breakthrough battle group here. So Haven't seen any assault packages just yet on these grenadiers. See what he ultimately ends up wanting to do with that. Feels like a tiger is going to be the end goal here. Stuart being found out by these Jaegers and should get him here. Attacking ground, didn't have vision through the smoke there. So, lucky escape for a British player there. And a second flak on the field. No surprise there. This is the meta build here. And British player going up to the company command post. Feels like he may be calling the Stuart off the map rather than repairing it. Infantry section finding the mines on their way out the door here. A AT gun trying to get in position here, but is going to be found out by these flak panzers. And flak panzers on the chase here. Going to slow it down just a little bit with the AT grenade there in the infantry section, but that's a dead AA gun. Probably not going to go down here. Stuart being repaired up, going to try and defend the line here. Flak panzer's going to give it up. But things looking really good for our German right now. Got his opponent all the way hemmed in his base here. Is going to pick up some more territory while this is happening. Second, we saw a second Stuart on the way very briefly. Did cancel that, switching out for an AT gun, which I definitely think is the right choice. Interestingly enough, German actually not picking up a whole lot of territory while this is happening. He's going to try and steal away that close fuel point there. Heavy machine gun's going to get set up here, but base artillery barrage are going to drive them back. And German player having to give up the territory that he's taken away. Grenadiers on a bad retreat path, but going to make it out no problem. Being slowed down by the flamethrower here a little bit. But, yep, ultimately going to live there. Jaegers stopping this capture from happening. Grenadiers nearly going down there. So ultimately that, while that was really good from our German and he did contain his opponent in his base for a while, he wasn't actually controlling both victory points, or two of the victory points, I should say. Didn't really deny his opponent his fair share of resources here. So, it was a great push, but ultimately I think it wasn't a great play. British player moving back into this area in a big way, going to get discounts on his grenades if he wants to. Martyr on the scene here, going to be pushed back. And infantry section ought to finish their capture there, but not before being shredded for their trouble there. Jaegers moving down, as well as this heavy machine gun, going to prevent that capture from happening. There is a German unit on the bottom side, going to pick up that kill point here. Just some grenadiers. Love to see that, but here comes the AT guns. We're looking for a fight. The German player is he's gonna respect his opponent there and let the German into the area. Luftwaffe officer quarter on the way here. Gonna rank up all of his Luftwaffe units, which is pretty much exclusively the tanks, but I guess also includes those Jaegers there. Panzerfaust coming down. Gonna injure that tank there, but ultimately not gonna be able to destroy him there. Pioneers trying to make this capture happen. AT guns set up, getting a shot there. Looks like the flak panzer's gonna come in on the flank here. And that looks like a dead infantry section to me. That'd be a really nice pickup for our German player there. Is gonna bring it down. AT guns, though, all set up, unfortunately for him, not focusing the same unit. Is gonna get a stun here on this first flak panzer, and that is a dead flak panzer. So nice little pickup there, trading a infantry section for a flak panzer. Gonna favor the British player in terms of fuel, but I do think the lost veterancy on that infantry section is not gonna feel very good here. Infantry section gonna be suppressed there. And Jaeger's gonna go down to this Bren gun if they're not careful, are gonna give up the section. So British player has plenty of fuel and manpower here, so it does feel like we're about to see a Crusader. I actually think a Matilda would be pretty good here. I guess it depends on whether he favors the high mobility or high health And does look like it's going to be a Crusader there. It's bold of me to say it without actually clicking on the silhouette there, but it is going to be a Crusader. And yeah, I mean, things looking pretty decent for both players here. Moving into the mid-game here with relatively even resources overall. Victory points definitely favoring our British player, but German is not that far behind. And it does sort of feel like our British player is going to need to worry about Tiger sooner rather than later here. I mean, German player's got a healthy amount of fuel and manpower floating here because he doesn't really need a whole lot more right now. That said, with this Crusader on the field, is going to have to be worried about that. Does have the second Jaeger ready to go, and will have the munitions to go for that Panzerschreck in short order here. AT guns spread out here, waiting for the push by his opponent. Grenadier is going to drive back these light resistance here in the middle. Crusader on the scene, though, does need to be careful here. There could be some Panzerfaust with his name on it. Jaeger's not upgrading to a Panzerschreck just yet. That's kind of cool seeing this Stuart kept on the map. You know, I feel like when you see folks go for Crusader or for Stuarts, they often refund them with the company command post and swap them out for a Crusader. But with Vet 2 on this guy, that unit's looking a little bit, you know, starting to look scary here. Increased rate of fire, acceleration, deceleration. So high mobility and decent DPS there. Crusader engaging the MG in the house there. Whoops. Let me just pull off the action there. AT gun finding the Flak Panzer there, driving him back. Bren's dealing with these Grenadiers here in the middle. And kind of a slow fight here. I mean, 2 Martyrs not involved against these tanks here, fearful of the AT guns. He's going to move up just a little bit here. And Flak Panzer still not being has not been repaired up just yet. And it's kind of funny to see both players just sitting at max range here, not forcefully engaging one another here. Crusader moving in, actually going to find these Martyrs here and then be driven back. Oh man, nearly going down there. Should be able to get out no problem. Lovely use of those Pioneers on the wings here. I think our German player needs to be doing that as much as possible. Sending a unit here or there to the edges of the map, even if it's this Flak Panzer to drive away any units capturing. So love to see that. Royal Engineers going to finish the decapture and bail on out of there. Pioneers were thinking about going to that top side, but changing their mind here. Nicely done by the infantry section, going to stop. Going to take away this cutoff point, deny all those resources on the left side there. Martyrs being found by the AT guns. British player just slowly creeping forward here, taking every little inch of ground that he can. But German player blobbing up here on the side, going to capture the territory that he needs to be successful here. Nicely done. Second Crusader going to be on the field here very shortly. So that's going to be a bit scary for our German player. 2 Martyrs probably cannot handle 2 Crusaders if they get the jump there, especially with the support of the Stuart and AT guns. We've seen AA gun re-added here for our German player, valuing this unit rather highly, it seems. Willing to re-add it on at this late stage in the game. So German player rightly taking the territory he needs to be successful, which is to say the resources that are going to be essential for success here. And these Jaegers here waiting in stealth, hoping these Crusaders come closer. They are going to come closer here. Martyrs on the scene, ready for this push as well. Getting a good hit with the, getting a great hit with that Panzerfaust there. Martyrs also getting some glancing blows. But ultimately, looks like the German player is going to have to respect his opponent there. Not going to be able to pick up those Crusaders. Flak Panzer still in the area. but not getting engaged just yet. Heavy machine gun, rather, able to hold it down by himself. I like this from our British player, just challenging his opponent on that side, not letting him take the territory for free. Another German, and that was a British mine this time, taking down those Jaegers a little bit there. Stuart just holding down the middle. Yeah. So, German player looks like he's going to be saving up for some big tanks here. Is going to have enough victory command points in short order. British player going for bishops here. Interestingly enough. Now, I mean, I'm not going to complain about seeing a bishop, but bishops against this highly mobile army, you know, gonna be interesting to see, I guess. I guess what I'm lamenting is that our German player only has really 2 weapon units. And that's not to say that AT is only good, or artillery is only good against weapon teams, but certainly strong against immobile units, right? And this German player has a lot of infantry, a lot of vehicles, so that said, he is blobbing up, and artillery is good against blobs. So, yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag. I'm happy to see the bishop. Now our German player, excuse me, our British player, oh man, there's a bunch of British mines there. Royal Engineer gonna go down. Nice pick up there from the flak. But Crusader's getting aggressive here on the hunt. Martyr's not in position, but Crusader's not gonna find those flak. And we are gonna see a bishop here being added on right now. So, yeah. German player adding on the Tiger right this second. I was about to say that is very clearly his plan. And Tiger is on the field here, just in time to meet this bishop. So, things could turn around in a big way for our German player here if he's able to pick up any of these tanks or infantry with this brand new Tiger here. Now, our British player did something interesting with his build. I mean, he went for these demolition engineering, right? So he is going to be able to call in demolition engineers as well as upgrade his existing Royal Engineers to those demolition engineers. And one Crusader going to meet the wrath of this Tiger plus, I mean, basically all of the anti-tank options from our British player being found out all at the same time. Tiger doing some serious damage to those infantry sections on their way out. And a barrage from the bishop going to call down here, but ultimately just going to drive back those martyrs there. And geez, British player losing a ton of units here. And I guess it's not a ton. It's only been 2 Royal Engineers plus a Crusader, but that is substantial. Finding a mine with those Jaegers there. Still doesn't have minesweepers, interestingly enough. Both players seemingly not interested in adding those on. German player recognizing his advantage here. Flame grenade coming down on this heavy machine gun on the top side is going to get out of the house just in time there. And wow. So, yeah, I mean, heavy losses for a British player here. British player, of course, not out of it here. I think a 17-pounder might be a pretty decent add-on here. I mean, he doesn't have access to any of his truly heavy tanks. Martyrs are going to do some serious work against any tanks that our British player adds on, and he is going for the 17-pounder. Yeah, I mean, with so much anti-tank, it really does feel like a 17-pounder is the right choice here. And, I mean, we could see him continuing to add on infantry in addition to the 17-pounder to deal with what he's up against here. And basically make those martyrs a waste of space. Really good hit by that. Was that the bishop there? I think it was. Nicely done there. Getting a good connection against the blob that he's been dealing with all game. And we are seeing a 17-pounder called in right this second here. And I love 17-pounders. I use them in my games. I know they're not the best meta unit, but it feels really, really good to snipe Tigers from across the map. And I like watching high-level players use them, because they it's the added tow them, set them up, move them again, right? I think it's really fun to watch that type of micro. And weapon team training completed for our British player. Going to give those units 20% extra fire rate, which is going to be freaking huge when it comes to 17-pounders. In addition to just these regular 6-pounders here. Heavy machine gun being driven back once again here. And British player is going to capture this top side, but German is mobilizing against this push here. And looking a little bit scary here to be here if you're an infantry section there. Tiger's going to find all these infantry, but 17-pounder on the scene here being dropped off and set up. German player does not know about the presence of the 17-pounder. Martyr's getting some good connections against the units there. AT grenade coming down on the Tiger as it's bailing out there. Martyr not going to get hit a second time. And what a great little hold there. Oh man, 17-pounder connecting with the Martyr right as it leaves the maximum range there. 6-pounders in the area as well. Rail engineers trying to be helpful, but having to respect that flak panzer there. And British player is going to walk away with one of the victory points here on this top side. Crusader being added on now. So nice recognition by our German players, seeing that his opponent is heavy on the top side, and just sending 1 or 2 units to this bottom side to pick up a bunch of territory. And Jaeger's going to secure this point. Flak Panzer here chasing this very high veterancy infantry squad down. Might get him, and that would be a great trade for the German there if he's able to get it, but isn't able to get it, and does look like he might lose that unit to those AT guns there. So bold choice there. Really wanted to pick up the high veterancy infantry section, but ended up losing the flak panzer there. Jaeger's almost going down as well. Tiger pushing his advantage there, finding a mine. Very, very risky to face check with your Tiger like that. And while all this has been happening, there's been some scuffles happening on this bottom side. Heavy machine gun going to suppress the infantry section there, but Crusader is in support here. No anti-tank in the area other than these Jaegers. Heavy machine gun going to be driven back there. And interestingly enough, British player... Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting to me that he was prioritizing the fuel there, given the state of the game, right? Which is he nearly has... He's got his opponent on the ropes from a victory points perspective, and actually has a decent amount of fuel here. So is going to focus on these victory points here. Unfortunately for him, thought that British infantry section was capturing there, but was in fact not doing that. 17-pounder getting set up here. Tiger still on that top side, but recognizing that his opponent has shifted sides here. Grenadiers way in the wings, going to be found by these Crusaders, and are going to bail out of there. Should be okay on that escape. More Grenadiers here in the wings. 17-pounder does have vision. Does not have vision, but the infantry section moving up now to give him that vision. Right as the Tiger sneaks behind the house there. Good first connection. 6-pounder also set up here. But Tiger going to hide behind the house, and 6-pounder's going to bounce off the front here. Jaeger's moving close here. Another barrage coming down. Going to try and deal with that AA gun. Should reposition him there. And this 17-pounder's already veteran C2. Combination of team weapons plus the damage that it's dealt this game. Crusader's trying to defend here, and is going to tow away his unit there, but there's some Shreks that are going to have something to say about that. Barely going to live. Smoke coming down. Towed unit going to be destroyed. The truck there going down. So going to be unable to tow that unit out of there. And this is the smoke operations here, smoking all units in this gigantic blue circle here. And what's our bishop up to in terms of kills? You tell him it does not have 0 kills, dude. That's the bug coming in there, telling the unit that it's like it's an issue with. Well, I don't know exactly what it's an issue with, but any of the indirect fire units don't get full credit for the damage that they deal. And it's a real shame because it can result in units not getting veterancy at the rate that they're supposed to. And we're seeing that now with the bishop a little bit here. Shame about that. Germans still in control. Did I accidentally switched our... I learned how to switch sides there, and it's really handy to switch blue and red side, but it messes with the UI here. And a Nubelwerfer on the way for our German. Very cool. Oh man, Bishop almost picking up that Martyr there. That would have been ridiculous. Actually hitting those Grenadiers as well. So what a great little barrage there by him. Now our Crusader's being called off the map here. Why is that? What is his plan there? I mean, he wouldn't call the Crusader off if he was planning on adding another Crusader, right? And it's not like he needs the fuel desperately here. So, perhaps a Matilda, perhaps? Tiger sitting at maximum range here, getting some decent hits. 17-pounder isn't on the scene, and he is going to just replace the Crusader with another Crusader. 17-pounder going to find this infantry here. Probably going to lose that tow truck once again. So actually a nice little pickup for our German, as weird as it is to say that here. AT guns all going to get some good connections there. And Jaeger's going down on the retreat here, trading his Crusader for a Jaeger squad. Absolutely worth it. 17-pounder, one more hit on this Tiger might take him down. And he's going to attack ground into the fog of war. Oh man, missing just barely there. So unfortunate for our British player not taking down the Tiger there. Tiger's still backing away, being repaired while it's on the move there. And man, this game's going to go the distance here. Demolitions engineers on the wings of the map, just picking up some more territory, but German player is currently bleeding with 113 victory points to go here. And almost a triple, not gonna barely prevent this double cap from happening. Gonna critically wound this Crusader, gonna finish the capture and probably bounce on out of there. Royal Engineers in the area though. I should say Demolitions Engineers. German player capturing that bottom side while this is happening. And another artillery barrage coming down on that AA gun. Here come the Martyrs though. Crusader going to be driven back. Martyr taking one shot and getting out of there as he should. Heavy machine gun Vet 3 barely escaping. And British player, interestingly enough, continuously being forced to re-add his tow truck there. And is going to pick up the Martyr there at maximum range. That's lovely to see. Here comes a barrage. But British player already out of there. And this game is getting chaotic here towards the end. 95 points to go for our German here. Jaeger's finding the Royal Engineers here. Crusader going down somewhere. Where'd that happen? Oh, being called off the map. Okay, so once again, going to replace that unit. 6-pounders are set up. 17-pounder in the area as well. Not currently set up. Barrage coming down. Did that kill the Pioneer? Oh my god, it did. Wow. 17-pounder moving forward here. Taking advantage of his opponent repositioning there. Heavy machine gun continuing to do work for our German. Nubelwerfers ought to have a barrage here in the near future. 2 Crusaders in the queue. And crazy. This game is really coming down to the wire. German's going to walk away with 2 victory points once again here. I mean, ultimately, it feels like things are going well. Well, it feels like things are going well for both players. I mean, German player has his Tiger, Vet 1, has his high veterancy infantry still alive, has the tools he needs to deal with what his opponent has. The scariest thing on this map is the 17-pounder for the German. Crusaders aren't going to be terribly scary in the face of Tiger plus Shrek combo, but he did lose one of his Shreks in that one of the recent engagements here. I don't know. It does feel like our British has superior map mobility here, but the German has the units that he wants to deal with what his opponent has. This game could go either way, definitely on a knife's edge here. And Nubelwerfer probably waiting to see where the 17-pounder is going to set up. Is going to find him now. Suspect we'll see that barrage come out shortly. 17 pounder actually hasn't quite seen it yet. Tiger repositioning, AA gun finding the British units on the wings there. And 17 pounder is going to see here. Maybe not quite, just barely out of the arc there. British player going to recapture this left side. German not wanting that to happen. Only 81 points to go here. And really nicely done here, hiding away his Tiger here. 17 pounder attacking ground through the brush there. Is going to get one shot, missing the second. And Nubelwerfer auto fire, having seen the 17 pounder, not going to happen. And tow truck coming in right away to move that unit out of there.
Report from the front. The enemy has 75 points. We're losing a victory point.
So British player currently bleeding his opponents. Both players look like they're going to trade victory points here. Crusaders retreating to their AT guns there. And it does feel like our British player has a really good map position right now. Just controlling this top side, sneaking away that bottom side a little bit here. Bishop in jeopardy here. 17 pounder helping out against the Tiger. Actually, that 17 pounder in a really good position here. And wow, I mean, Jaeger's closing the gap with these Shreks here. They do have two Shreks because they took one off the ground from their dead squad mates there. And actually getting more shots on the Crusader here. This is worth it for the German. Oh my god, barely going to escape there. German player is going to capture this top side. I mean, two Crusaders going down there is kind of a big deal. Royal Engineers finally in the middle, going to take up the Grenadiers there. And 17 pounders once again helping out. Basically at maximum range here. Should have another shot, but here comes the Nubelwerfer. Good first shot. Not quite going to burn him out of there. 17 pounder still doing work against the Tiger there. Tiger is going to back away. Barely going to make it. Pioneers living as well. Oh my god, here comes a flame grenade though. And that's a dead AA gun. Pioneers trying to pick up the infantry section on their way out. Not going to happen. Artillery barrage coming down on the heavy machine gun. Vet 3 17 pounder going to be burned away there. And holy cow, this game is still anyone's to take. I mean, British player losing a bunch of Crusaders there. 17 pounder might go down here as well. 6 pounders moving up to deal with this very low health Tiger. This is extremely dangerous. Does see the AT guns moving into position there. Breakthrough being used here to pick up territory quickly by our German. Jaegers looking like they want to destroy the 17 pounder. Royal Engineers not going to let that happen. Grenadiers burning away here. Should be able to decrew. But grenade going to come out. Going to decrew it, but not destroy it. Jaegers, one more shot here. Is going to pick up the 17 pounder. That's a big freaking deal. Wow. So, I mean, heavy losses for both players there. Ultimately, I think that was a better exchange for our British player, as crazy as that sounds. I mean, just looking at his current units here, is going to destroy the AA gun. Looks like he's also going to get the Nubelwerfer here. And despite losing the 17 pounder, this Tiger is out of commission for a while here. And, I mean, our German doesn't have a while, right? I mean, he's only got 49 points on the board here. Is bleeding out once again. More infantry sections headed up there to capture as much territory as they can. German player desperately needs to get 2 of these victory points right now, sending Grenadiers to that bottom side to make that happen. Barrage on the base coming in from the Bishop. Tiger moving to this top side to support the blob. I really like this, sending 1 unit to the bottom side and his entire army to the top side. Not trying to hit his opponent where he's strong, which is the middle right now. Jaegers are going to stop this capture from happening. That's really important. Grenadiers still on their way down here. Going to bleed out for a little bit here, but should survive. But this is probably the last call for our German here. I think if he loses these points again, he's not going to have enough gas in the tank to stay in this game. Interestingly enough, British player continuing to add on Crusaders instead of another 17 pounder. I guess he's feeling like he just needs map control, and Crusaders are going to give that to him. And he's definitely not wrong about that. Tiger finding both 6 pounders here, going to drive them back, nearly destroying one. Heavy machine gun going to suppress those infantry sections in the middle. German did not actually secure 2 victory points here. And with infantry sections standing on 2 of the points here, I do think this is going to be the end of the game here. 6-pounders trying to help out. Grenadiers going down in the middle. Huge barrage, nearly wiping out the Pioneers. And Tiger being forced all the way back. 6-pounders continuing to do work here. And a surrender coming in from our German. What a great game. By the way, this game was live on the ladder. I saw this game on the ladder, and I'm so glad I caught it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did, and I'll see you in the next one.